Timesplitters Future Perfect takes place in a future where humanity is caught in a war with a race of monstrous beings that travel through time and space to eradicate all of mankind. Humanity has nearly lost this war, and it's on the verge of annihilation. As a last-ditch effort, the human resistance sends their best operative left, Sergeant Cortez, back in time to try and stop the war before it started and discover what's behind the mysterious anomalies being detected in a number of periods and locations. Throughout the 6 or so hour runtime of this game, you'll be tested with almost every number of foe, from mutants and zombies to Terminator-style robots and evil henchmen. The only way to save humanity is to get through them, however, and you're going to need every one of the vast array of weapons on offer here, and the help of a large cast of wacky allies to dispatch them. Released in 2005 by Free Radical, Timesplitters Future Perfect is the third and final game in the series by the same name. While normally I wouldn't recommend starting on the third game in a series, I do recommend it here, as this game is fairly different from its predecessors. The story depicted here is far more cinematic, fleshed out, and modern when compared to Timesplitters 2 or 1. Gone are the more open levels and objectives of Timesplitters 2 that usually involved collecting an object and pushing a button or two to beat a level, and in their place are levels structured much more like games of the time like Halo. Not only that, but Future Perfect is the first game in the series to ditch snap aiming, a style of aiming used widely in FPS games on older consoles such as the N64 due to their lack of a dedicated aiming stick. This makes a world of difference for anyone who didn't grow up and become accustomed to the older and in many ways inferior control style like me. These changes let you instantly jump right in and experience the awesomeness that this game has waiting for you. Throughout the 14 levels, you'll go back in time to locations like World War I era Europe and as far forward in time as crippling Terminator-style robot wars. Future Perfect makes sure to make great use of all these eras as well by cramming all sorts of references and jokes into each of them, like a hilarious James Bond-style cat-stroking villain, or levels that feel straight out of the film Starship Troopers. What this amounts to is a game that becomes a sort of montage or highlight reel of modern games and cinematic action history. One minute, you'll be in a tank blowing your way down the street full of enemies, and the next you'll be leaping across the tops of train cars with helicopters in hot pursuit. While for the most part, this makes for a truly epic experience, there are sections that do take you out of the moment a bit, and that feel a bit unfleshed out. A few of the boss fights, while nice to look at, really end up being kind of uninspired and a bit too easy for my liking, like this early tank battle that took me all of 10 seconds to beat.
The tank stalled. Now's your chance to get close. Try to plant explosives on the rear of the tank. Wow, you took care of that tank all by yourself. Very impressive, Cortez.
Now 6 hours is a bit short for a campaign, but I'm glad to report that this game offers much more entertainment than just the story mode. As you may have seen on screen, there are multiplayer bot modes like Deathmatch, Capture the Zone, and Base Assault that are extremely fun and even add usable guns, characters, and maps that were not in the story mode. The bots in these modes are among the most competent I've seen in an FPS game and really keep the experience feeling exciting. You can play as and assign enemies as a roster of 150 characters, all with their own unique stats and dialogue to boot. Free Radical really went all out with these characters, and some of them are hilarious, like the RoboCop chimpanzee or the bear running around on its hind legs. The Base Assault mode that is on screen now was super fleshed out and had tons of different stages and even turrets around the different stages of defenses. I wish more modern games would be as creative with their modes as this game. The maps were also really cool. There was one in the air on a zeppelin that's falling to pieces, one inside a computer simulation, one at a futuristic spaceship port, and all sorts more. This, combined with weapons like explosive flare guns, Ghostbusters style beam weapons, and rusty harpoon guns, allow for endless combinations and fun times. There's more though, and in addition to these classic multiplayer modes, there's a huge amount of unique challenges and minigames you can play and receive scores and trophies on. You can race a cat robot around a track, play Call of Duty style zombie maps that are honestly so close to what Treyarch made that I have to wonder if this game inspired them, a basketball minigame, turret defense minigames, dancing robot monkey charging minigames, and more. All of this is also playable in multiplayer. Future Perfect took me back and reminded me of my childhood growing up playing custom games in GoldenEye, Halo, and Call of Duty. You can feel that this game is just as much of a classic as those, and in some aspects, has way more content to offer than even those. Despite being nearly 20 years old now, this game is for sure one that I would show to my friends and play through for years. In terms of availability, this game is currently only available on Xbox platforms and the original consoles it released on, being the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. For this review, I played the game on the Dolphin GameCube emulator on PC. The game has native widescreen support, and not much needs to be done to get it to run properly, other than downloading the emulator and game, as well as plugging in a controller to play. I'll leave a link to the emulator in the description. It's pretty simple to set up and get going after that. All in all, Timesplitters is one of the best games I've played in a while, and really deserves its feature on Banger Game Reviews. This game is good old-fashioned, lighthearted fun, and has many hours of fun and content waiting for you and your friends to play. Who knows if we'll ever get the rumored sequel to this game, but in the meantime, I recommend anyone watching to play this game, and I myself may even go back and play the previous games in the series after having such a good time here. For all those reasons and more, this game is getting my first ever 10 out of 10.